What's up, everybody? Welcome to the World of Concacaf podcast, live from the Concacafé in Doha, Qatar. Yes, we are out here. This is Eric.
And I'm Donald.
And, Donald, we're at the Concacafé.
We told people we were going to do it.
We told people, but, I'm just, this is like a lifelong dream of mine to finally make my pilgrimage to the Concacafé, and we did it.
I've been dreaming about this my whole life since last week.
We did it. It's actually really nice. It's a great idea. We were talking before we started recording about this is something Concacaf could be doing for every major tournament, bringing a sample of the whole region to wherever people happen to be.
Yeah, and for people who are here at the World Cup, because we're going to talk about the World Cup here. The cafe also has some free food that they give away. It's between 12 and 2 on every day that a CONCACAF team is playing. So, of course, today we're recording on November 25th, which is Black Friday, aka USA versus England. Because of that, it's open today. But 12 to 2 every single day that a CONCACAF team is playing, you can come by here. They have free food. I think the menu changes every day. They're giving away, they gave us a free fanny pack.
We got CONCACAF. We literally got the bag.
Yeah, we literally secured the bag.
The CONCACAF fanny pack.
Yeah.
It was worth the trip over to the Middle East just to get this fanny pack. Beautiful.
But it's a great idea. It's something that they can do. Obviously, 2026, if they don't do it, they've done something wrong. But like Eric said, for Nations League, for Gold Cup, it's super simple to kind of find a cafe or some sort or some restaurant to kind of turn into a CONCACAF for the
a pop-up,
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's really nice. You walk in, they've got a display. Post a picture of it. But it's got all of the CONCACAF nations, soccer balls for each one, including the non-FIFA members, because CONCACAF sticks together,
Exactly.
Really nice displays, and then they got a nice selection of food. I'm drinking a Sprite in a glass bottle. In the spirit of our what are we drinking right now? Is a beautiful Sprite. What were you drinking? You had a Coke?
I had a Coca-Cola Light, which is basically Diet Coke.
Oh.
It tasted like Diet Coke. It's fine.
It works. Unfortunately, no Rome drinks at the Concacafé, as it, when in Rome, But if we do this in other areas, theoretically, we could have, the most banging bar.
Oh, yeah.
Of, selections of rums and frozen drinks from around the region.
So, basically what Eric is saying is he's going to build a Concacafé at his house. And everyone's invited.
Yeah. This just means I have to travel more. I have to go around and stock up more stuff. So I'm gonna have to hit some islands to open this up.
Poor Eric, he's got to travel more to get more rum.
Yeah. It's a life I didn't choose, but it chose me.
It chose you. Exactly right.
All right. Well, we're in the Concacafé. Let's talk about the CONCACAF soccer. Donald, you've been here since the start of the tournament. I just got in on Wednesday. So you've seen, which games have you seen for CONCACAF?
So for CONCACAF, I saw USA Wales. Obviously, we were going to USA England this evening, and I also got to see Belgium Canada the other day.
Yeah. So what was your impression? What was the vibe like? We can start with the USA Wales one. What was the vibe like? What was the crowd like? Talk about the game and the experience.
Yeah, from the fan standpoint, American fans were everywhere. We probably had 3/4 of the stadium. There's a nice pocket of Welsh fans. They've traveled. They've been very cool. Everyone had a great time, but it was definitely 3/4 Americans in the stands. What's cool about the World Cup is that if you're a neutral fan, they give out flags for both teams that are playing, so you can pick whether to support one team, the other team, or both. So there was a lot of USA flags all over the place. A lot of people were grabbing those. And anytime a USA chant came out, the crowd was electric. I will tell people, there's a lot of people who were saying that the fan base was a little dull as far as the noise. My phone begged to differ. My phone sent me a warning during the game that we had already experienced 60 minutes of a decibel level of 117. For those people who don't know what that means, I think you can only go to 2 stadiums in America where that will basically exceed that amount, and that's Lumen Field and Arrowhead. Other than that, we were one of the loudest. It was very, very loud when the crowd was rolling. So from the standpoint of the game, I mean, let's be clear. From an American standpoint, it was 1 point. You're always happy with a point in the World Cup, but it should have been 3.
Yeah. No, and I think the takeaway from the game, just on the field, is that the U.S. was clearly the better team. Especially the first half. Like, you watch that first half, you're like, holy shit, this team can do
That was
things.
the best U.S. team I had seen in years.
Yeah.
That first half.
Yeah. There was lack of a killer instinct in the final third, but, like, as far as, like, possessing the ball, making smart plays, like, they showed up and played awesome. But you saw Wales made some adjustments at halftime, and the U.S. did not make the appropriate adjustments to the adjustments. And unfortunate situation at the end where Gareth Bale wins that penalty from that challenge of Walker Zimmerman, and yeah, they end up with 1 point instead of 3. Which, if someone would have offered you, it's like, would you take a draw right now before that game? You would have been like, yes. But
it didn't feel that way.
It didn't feel that way. It felt like a loss because you gained a point, but you also felt like you lost 2.
That was the feeling. That was the general feeling amongst the fans, was we lost 2 points as opposed to gaining 1. But again, like I said, at the World Cup, a result is a result. You use that, and at this point, you can't be eliminated with a loss tonight.
Yeah.
But you wanted it so bad because, after 8.5 years almost of waiting, you wanted that win, and we were just this close to getting it. And, some MLS on MLS crime ended up being the difference.
Yeah. So the way she goes, that's why they play the game. But you've seen another Concacaf team in action. Which game did you go to?
I went to Belgium, Canada.
Canada's first World Cup match since 1986?
Yes, and they were ready for it. The Canadian fans showed up. They were all over the place. They were chanting, most of the game. And let me tell some people about how this works with the World Cup. Most people think that people are just going nuts the entire game.
Yeah.
There's long stretches of games where fan bases aren't cheering. And it's not because they're not supporting. It's because everyone here is nervous.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Everyone is in full panic mode.
I don't care who you are. Even, Brazilian fans last night, even England fans when they were destroying Iran, they were nervous entering the game. There's an air of that.
Yeah.
So there's going to be times where people are going to be cheering and doing chants. And there's going to be times where they're watching the game because, you travel all this way, you pay all this money.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to watch some of the game, but also it's that pressure that is on the field is also in the stands too, and you feel it throughout the stadium. So there's times you're just going to be, just anxious and just wanting to see what happens.
Yeah, just like there's a cloud of palpable anxiety.
Yes.
Over everything about this tournament.
Yeah.
And it's like, as great as it is, as great as the atmosphere is, man, if you don't get results, it kind of ruins the whole thing. And you don't get to kick it. You don't get to redo this next month. You know, it's 4 years of a tournament you have to qualify for that you're going to have to wait if you screw this one up. So, yeah, lots of anxiety.
But they outplayed. I mean, let's be honest. They outplayed Belgium most of the night. Of course, Belgium is super good.
Yeah.
So when you're a super good team, it only takes one moment, and they really only had one moment, and that moment was Batshuayi's goal.
Yeah.
And that was the difference.
Well, we talked when we did our World Cup preview that, you knew John Herdman was going to have that team ready, and he clearly did. They played great. They showed that they belonged on this stage. And it's unfortunate for them that they didn't get a result out of it. They certainly had their chances. I mean, Alphonso Davies, I know he's the star. I don't know if him at his young age that you should have been putting him up there to take that penalty.
I was surprised it was him, not because he's not capable of doing it, but because he doesn't take him for Bayern Munich, obviously. He's probably 11th on that pecking order, and that's no slouch to him. That's just how good Bayern is. I would have thought it was Jonathan David that would be stepping up to take that penalty. So I was kind of surprised it wasn't him.
Yeah. So kind of another case of lost opportunity of picking up points.
And in their group, that's going to be I know they're going to want that result back, right? They're going to want that penalty kick back. They're going to want at least a point out of there because they're in a very difficult group, and it doesn't get easier for them as it goes along. Yeah, I mean, they got Croatia next, I'm pretty sure. So that's going to be a difficult challenge for them.
Yeah. Do we want to touch on the other CONCACAF teams, how their results went?
We can. I mean, we want to start with Mexico or Costa Rica.
Let's start with Mexico because that'll be quick.
Okay.
I mean, I think Costa Rica's gonna be quick too, but
Yeah.
Mexico, they get a result.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see much of that game. What did you think of that?
I mean, Memo Ochoa saves the day.
Yeah.
He stopped Lewandowski's penalty kick, and I mean, when Lewandowski steps up, you basically think, well, this is going in as a goal, but Memo makes a great save, and that really boosted the spirits of the Mexican fans that were there. And I'll tell you, Mexican fans are everywhere. They outside of the United States, they are probably the most well-traveled group. We'll talk about some other well-traveled groups, but like in Concacaf, especially, they are everywhere. We've heard USA and Mexico chants at games not involving them. So I mean, it's been quite fun to have all this walk around. But at that particular game, you could just feel the swell of energy when they missed that penalty or when they saved that penalty, and that kind of spurred them on to kind of hold on for the result against a tough Poland team.
Yeah, and then Costa Rica losing by a touchdown.
I was really hoping they wouldn't do that.
I don't think
Spain's
anyone
very
wants
good,
that.
but I mean, we talked about how they just were the team that I guess had no chance of advancing in their group, seeing that they're with Germany, Japan, and Spain, and we were just hoping that they could pull off a couple results, and that was not the great start that they needed.
That was the opposite of the great start.
That was a very opposite. I mean, I remember we were leaving one game and traveling to watch that game so we could go to the next game that day. And by the time we got to where we were, it was already 3-0. And it was like 23 minutes in, we're like, oh, well, that's that. And it felt like even from there, like they just didn't know how to handle Spain's passing. Spain had 947 passes, and they completed 96% of them. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And it's not like they were doing long balls and stuff like that. They were just, tiki-taka down the field.
Knocking it around.
Knocking it around down the field and just clinical. So Costa Rica, they have a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about how you're going from one game to another. That's the thing that, like, I got into town on Wednesday. I've noticed that it's like there are so many people just going to as many games as they can. Mm-hmm. What's it been like for you this World Cup? Because you've been to past World Cups. I feel like this is so much different from the last one that I had been to, where it's like people are just going to games. Like that's what they're doing all day.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to multiple games. The last couple of days I've been to 2 games in a day. Yeah. It's quite tiring to get between one and the other because the logistics here have just been, for each stadium, have just been very inconsistent. Because of that, you're having to walk a long time to get a taxi or get a bus or get an Uber to go to the next stadium or to go to wherever you need to go or to the Fan Fest. The perimeter basically is set up like a mile or so outside of the stadium, so you can't really get close. All the roads are closed around each stadium. There's a lot of stuff closed downtown because they want to make sure people can funnel traffic. But as a result, it makes it where it's more difficult for people to even walk to the stadium. So that has been a challenge, unlike other, World Cups. But again, a lot of people are taking advantage of the fact that, yes, you can go to 2, maybe 3 matches in a day if you want to.
Yeah. I mean, I had gotten tickets for the U.S.-England game, and that was it. That was the only game I was planning on going to. And I get into town, and I got a buddy that's like, hey, I got an extra ticket for Germany-Japan. You want to go? I'm like...
Which turned out to be a great game.
Yeah, it turned out to be a great game, but it's like, why wouldn't I go? I'm here. The stadium's right there. And I went as a neutral, and it felt like there were a lot of people like me who were just there to see the game. And I feel like it did alter the vibe a little bit because there's so many casuals there where it's like you would think that the fans are like on one side or the other filling the stadium.
Right.
There's a lot of like the vibe just seems lighter for all of these games.
Yeah, and it's because of how ticket distribution works, obviously. Like, you would think for, let's say, the Nations League final, right? Like, Nations League final, there was one half of the bowl that was American fans, one half of the bowl that was Mexican fans. Federations basically said, we get one half of the stadium, you get the other half. In the middle, like, maybe 5-10% corporate sponsors, whoever, right? Here at the World Cup, the federations only get 8% of the tickets in the stadium. So, and the stadium is like 40,000. they're getting less than 3,000 tickets. So there's so many people who just are shut out, and they have to get tickets through other means. So you'll see pockets of fans throughout the stadium. There's no like wall of, unless you have a big group that travels very well, like the Brazilians or the Mexicans or the Americans, the English. But other than that, you just have a pocket of fans here, a pocket of fans there, a pocket of fans up top, and the people just kind of get in where they can.
Yeah. No, I mean, talk about, you really can't compare it to Nations League final though, because that's a much bigger competition.
Much bigger scale.
Yeah, much bigger scale.
Involves islands too.
It's not a fair comparison.
Yeah.
But I think you do see that this is such a soccer experience for everybody. It's not just like you're going to this game and you're seeing your team. It's like you're hanging out, watching soccer with people from all over the world doing the same thing. And I've been very impressed with like how well Concacaf is represented here.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of U.S. fans. Like you said, like Mexico, there's Mexican fans everywhere. You've seen a lot of green and red. On my flight over, I flew from Heathrow into Doha. There were maybe 10, 12 U.S. fans on that flight. There were more Canadian fans. There were more Costa Ricans. There were more Mexicans. Like, the flight was like the Concacaf Express.
Yeah.
Just like, it was legit half.
Now that could be because you came over a couple days ago.
Yeah.
The U.S. had already played a game, whereas Costa Rica, I think, was playing that day.
Yeah.
So
they
for
were
a lot of Americans, they were already here.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, like again, walking around, you can't walk, a block without seeing an American fan here, and walking around the Fan Fest, people are just everywhere, and it's not just like from the supporters groups. It's people who decided, I'm just going to come to the World Cup, which is the beauty of the World Cup, is that you get fans from all around the world hanging with each other, watching a game that none of you really care about. But we care about the game, so you're picking sides. You're rooting for both teams or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
We're rooting for a good game. So that Germany-Japan game the other day, like Germany scored, went ahead, like you wanted to see Japan equalize, and then as it was getting close, you're like, all right, let's make something happen here. It was a great finish.
Yeah,
so that was really cool.
I do need to talk about one thing that came up, which is kind of funny. On the boat, so I'm staying on one of the cruise ships here, because obviously there's a lot of cruise ships brought in for this World Cup for hotel purposes. And so we're at the buffet late night after one of the games, and we're just eating. And, the buffet is open till 5, so we're just kind of eating after the 10 p.m. game. And there was a Canadian fan behind us that was talking to some Mexican fans. The Canadian fans basically talking trash. He's like, well, we beat you guys in qualifying. We beat the U.S. at home in qualifying. And, so we're sitting there like, hold up. You're not talking about us. But before we could say anything, the Mexican fans said, yo, man, none of that matters. You know why? Because we're on the same ship at the same World Cup. Does not matter how you got here. Yeah. What matters is that we're all here. So you don't need to do that. Yeah. That's not what this is about. We are all on the same team now. And I was like, that's what's up, because that's what the World Cup is. Also, I will say, if a fan from another confederation was talking trash about Mexico, I'd step in and defend, because no, that's my job. Yeah. That's not your job.
Yeah.
We stick together. It's like when we fight each other. But no, it's kind of like your brother, your sibling, right? Like you're not gonna let your sibling get bullied. That's your job. You bully your sibling. So that part was kind of funny.
It's the Animal House. Like, you can't mess with our pledges. Yeah. We mess with our pledges.
Exactly. So I think that's the fun thing, is that and that's the only quote unquote negative incident we've seen. That everyone here has been super nice. We were partying with Welsh fans the night before the USA Wales game. We were partying with English fans last night.
Guys,
all right. The clapping is what we usually do when we have to edit things. We're not going to be able to edit this, but some dude just came up and started talking to us. So you got a little bit of a weird gap there. Yeah. But anyways, talking about fans.
I mean, the beauty of this is you're partying with fans from all over the world, and you may even be playing them the next day, right?
Yeah.
Like, again, we were partying with Welsh fans the night before the Wales game. Last night, there were some English fans. We're giving each other, playful banter. Mm-hmm. It's all in good spirit here at the World Cup. And again, even fans that would be arch rivals of each other are having a great time together. That's the beauty of this whole thing.
Yeah. No, and the vibes are pretty good, knowing what's going on. I'm actually staying at one of the fan villages. I'm gonna save all of that for an episode.
We need one more round of that. Yeah.
Well, it's not. I don't know if it'll be one more round. I'll probably there's a lot to unpack for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some shit. But I'm gonna wait until we're comfortably out of the country before we start airing some of that nonsense. But staying at the fan village, there's everyone from everywhere, and it really is a unique experience just being surrounded by people. There's a handful of Americans that are at the village that I'm at, and we're a small subset. You've seen every single country represented there, and it, for as much consternation as there was about this World Cup, you're still seeing some of the elements of why the World Cup's great, regardless of the environment.
Yeah, absolutely. There's things that obviously are frustrating, and there's things that are really, really good.
Yeah.
But that's kind of part of the experience, and it's a unique experience that we get to take back with us. So, looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, USA England. I guess we should talk about that a little bit, because people will be able to listen to this before the game. This is your pregame reporting. I mean, this is probably going to drop about the same time our podcasts usually get scheduled to drop,
in the morning.
We're going to be doing it dropping it immediately. But
give me a minute, please.
We're very popular out here. So we'll wrap it. We'll kind of keep this quick.
Yeah.
But U.S. England, what are you expecting out of this after seeing how they played against Wales?
Wow, I hope the U.S. just goes right at it. Yeah. Because especially Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
Because he's trash. No, I really think that if they can go at him and be aggressive and get that goal, that opening goal, that puts all the pressure on England, and that's where I feel like our guys usually thrive. Halftime adjustments are going to be key, because that's what kind of was the difference in the Wales game. If we can make the halftime adjustments, we should see Gio Reyna tonight.
Yeah.
So,
and I think
we should see Gio Reyna tonight, and after that, I think these guys are ready. I'm not worried about them not being ready or being, blinded by the lights or the pressure. I just hope they can pull through and get the result.
Yeah. Listen, England has never beaten us in a World Cup.
Never.
Not once. Ever. I don't expect that to change.
I didn't come here to watch that happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm flying back with something in my pocket from tonight's game. So, I'm excited.
Yeah. Should be fun. 2 p.m. on the East Coast.
Yeah, 1 p.m. Central.
1 p.m. Central, 11 a.m. in California.
See, that's how time zones work. Yeah, time zones.
Yeah.
Things.
But 10 p.m. for those you here in Doha.
Yeah.
The late game.
It's also supposed to be kind of chilly tonight. So.
See, here's the thing. Everyone keeps saying it's chilly. I'm a big dude. Ain't nothing here been chilly. Yeah. Nothing. So for ladies who are like, oh yes, I bring a sweater or something like that, that is not me. I was in short sleeves. I've been in short sleeves this whole time. There's not been anything beyond my elbows because it's been that hot to me. So.
Well, I'm feeling very judged. I'm planning on bringing a jacket. So.
A jacket may help.
Jacket, yeah.
You already have, right?
No.
Do you need it?
Yeah, we'll take that.
We're getting some food.
Yeah, we're getting the
Concacafé.
Concacafé food. All right, well, I guess we have to try this out.
Now.
Gotta check it out.
Hot dogs.
Yeah. So, in the meantime, this podcast kind of derailed over the last 5-10 minutes, so appreciate you sticking with us. Stick with us for more content. Donald and I are heading to Spain tomorrow, so we'll probably record something while we're there. This guy's honking, so he wants us to finish up.
Yeah.
So
we're done now.
Yeah, we're done. From Doha, happy Concacafé.
Peace.
Yeah. Concacafé, it's magical.